Well, hey everybody. We just came back from a brand new musical in Los Angeles called For the Love of a Glove. Everybody, I'm Emily Clark.
I'm Gerald. I'm Cody.
How's it going, guys? I'm Jeff.
Hi, I'm Megan Allison.
Yeah, and so this video is very exciting because this is our first Patreon request from Ryan Walterson. So
Bravo, Ryan!
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you so much for
And he donated and specifically told us that he wanted us to go see this new musical in LA called For the Love of the Glove.
Yeah.
Or For the Love of a Glove.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for this wonderful treasure. So I think we'll explain it first for those of you who don't know about it, and then we'll get into our thoughts about it.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in. So the first thing you have to know is that this is a regional community theater production in Los Angeles. Los Angeles has a wonderful, vibrant theater scene that we've all been a part of, and
we love it.
And we love very much. We've been in theater in LA, and we've produced theater in LA, and we love it. And so we applaud this company for putting up a show.
We even know a few people in the cast, actually.
It's true. We know a few people in the cast, which we'll talk about soon, I'm sure. And so this is very much a black box theater production. This isn't like going to see like a national tour. This isn't like coming to see Frozen or Hamilton when it comes to your town.
Exactly.
This was a homegrown show that people in the area put up in a black box space. And to give you guys an idea of the space, I would say it was an L-shaped stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like the house, we were in the middle, the stage was right here, but then the stage also extended to our stage left, house right side of us.
And we were kind of at an angle to the action a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we kind of raked against it or something.
Yeah, which is not uncommon for black box spaces.
Yeah.
You always have creative spaces where you kind of just do what you can with the space. So let's talk about the show that was in this space. So it was at the Carl Sagan and Ann Druyan Theater at the Center for Inquiry in Echo Park.
It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. My best explanation of Echo Park, for those of you who don't know the SoCal area, is like, you know that park that they use in every single Hollywood LA episode where like it's like fountains in the background,
people
and
riding
like
ducks
swan boats. That's Echo Park.
That's it.
It's like in Dr. Horrible and Dr. Horrible there in Echo Park. It's like old Hollywood when you're watching a movie about Hollywood in the 50s.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a big 50s vibe with the houses.
yeah, it's very hip, but also very like real.
These days it's like Silver Lake, but not as nice.
If that means anything to you. Okay, so this show. Someone else talk about it.
Deep
Oh my
breath.
So yeah, this guy
Plot.
Julian Nitzberg was the lyricist, writer, and director. He was there tonight. We got to meet him. He was a big fan of Gerald.
He liked me.
Yeah,
he seemed very nice.
Yeah, so the show's about Michael Jackson.
Yep. And,
So it's the start of the Jackson 5, essentially. Basically, the beginning of Michael's life with his family in Gary, Indiana.
Yes, and the
And-
reason why they have their talent is because of
alien gloves.
There's
Alien
aliens that
gloves.
look like gloves, so they could actually use them.
Aliens.
Mutually beneficial arrangement.
Now what's kind of cool is that there's a lot of puppetry in this show, and it doesn't just extend to these glove puppets. There's 5 of them. Anyway,
So there are 5 gloves and
Yeah.
there's 5 Jackson kids.
and those are also
They are
all
also puppets. So you know that thing where you like go to see some novelty show in Vegas and it's some guy with like a whole thing of Jackson 5s on like a pole?
Yeah.
That was it, except each person had their own Jackson 5
Except there was one guy that had 2.
puppet.
Right.
That's
There's
true.
one guy who had
Yeah.
that too.
We're very excited to see it.
And I hear
Are you
there's
excited,
puppets.
Cheryl?
I'm very excited because I hear there's puppets.
Yeah, it's Jerry Minor.
What about Jerry Major? I'm sorry, I had to. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's basically the first act is Michael growing up with the Jackson 5, and the second act is him as Michael Jackson all grown up. And he
24 years
gets
old.
yes, and he gets all his power from this magical puppet
All his
glove played by Jerry Minor. And
I was kind of phoning it in.
look, this show comes with a lot of baggage
Ugh.
because it's about Michael Jackson. And it explains away a lot of his stuff with magic alien gloves.
Yeah. Like all of the weird stuff that Michael did in his life is all because of random kooky events that happen with
Yeah.
the glove aliens.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's not to say that, you know, you can't be tongue-in-cheek and you can't be
Of course.
like parodying this stuff or commenting on it.
Doing
But-
satire.
Yeah, but I think the biggest problem a lot of us had was that this should have been a 70-minute fringe show,
At most.
and instead we were there from 8 till 11 o'clock.
You guys.
It wasn't an intermission,
10
but
minutes.
still, the
For
whole second
a
act.
Michael Jackson black box musical.
About a glove alien puppet.
It should not have been the running time of Carousel.
Like, there were so many songs, and each song's joke was uncovered within the first 15 seconds, and each one could have ended after that.
It was a big problem is that they would start a song and it would be really, really funny
And really biting.
and biting, and then it would not go anywhere. Like the second song in the show was called "What Is It About Indiana?" And then it was like, "We have the biggest Ku Klux Klan," and it was fun. We were laughing because like
Because
they
it
were
was so shocking and
it
like
was shocking. They were doing barbershop quartets. They were doing the fucking OK symbol. Like
it was really kind of on the nose, but like in a good way.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. It seemed like it was laying the groundwork for this type of show.
Yeah.
And then
Bombastic, over the top.
Yeah.
To make a point.
and it was bombastic and over the top. But the thing is as Gerald was pointing out during the whole show, is that we kept getting ahead of the joke.
That's right.
So it becomes a thing where you're sitting there and they're doing this kind of slow setup for something, and then it's like,
Yeah, we know where you're going.
get to the joke, get
Let's
to the
go.
joke.
Let's go already. We don't got all night. And apparently we do though.
So it was. I did not know what to expect coming into it. Initially, they started it with very kind of. You mentioned kind of explaining away some of Michael's quirkiness, which became horrendous. Eventually, horrifying.
Yeah,
It was always horrendous. We just excused it away.
absolutely
It got worse and worse just
Yeah.
as it went on because of the nature of the quirkiness, as we all know.
Yeah.
Like, you can explain away, oh yeah, it's funny that he has a monkey.
There was also a Bubbles puppet.
There was a
the
Bubbles
monkey.
Oh yeah.
puppet.
Again,
The
the
puppets
puppets
were
great.
incredible.
I actually liked them a lot.
Yeah.
Very
He
well made.
tried to. So the thing was, there were 5 of the glove aliens. There didn't need to be 5 of them, but there
Nope.
were.
Yeah, could have been one.
And they were all like, we feed on your blood, and your blood is yummy. And then it was like, ooh, your blood is great, but then it's like,
It's gross because you've lost your virginity.
Yeah.
Then
Your
it's
blood
like-
becomes rancid once you lose your virginity.
so Michael can't lose his virginity.
Big plot point.
Yeah, but then like there's all these things that kind of brush up to being really uncomfortable. Well, that
Yeah.
are uncomfortable. Like for
Yeah.
example, like the gloves. Joe Jackson finds out that they get the power, the singing talent from the gloves.
That's
and
how
then-
they get the whole Jackson 5 gets their talent from these
putting their
aliens.
hands in these gloves. And
Ooh.
so
Before that, they can't sing.
then it becomes this creepy consent thing about how the gloves don't want them inside them.
That's
But then they like
but then
it.
they
Then they're
try
fine
it
with
and
it.
then they like it.
Yeah.
The puppet technology was cool.
Very
it was
cool.
like
was
like a
simple,
flappy
but-
mouth.
Yeah,
Oh, I
there was like
liked
a
it,
trigger
yeah.
that opened the mouth.
had a little
that
trigger.
Did flop, flop,
And their
flop.
fingers would like light
That was
up.
pretty.
And the eyes.
actually.
When they had their
And the
life
eyes.
energy, there was like light bulbs on each
Yeah.
finger.
It
And
was
all the
a cool
fingers
device.
were still controlled by like the hand, like a normal
Yeah.
hand. So it was pretty good.
Yeah. So the show was written and directed by the same guy, which is hit or miss in my experience. We met him before. He was very nice. There's this song called "Do You Know What Happened in 1959," which, by the way, is their Dance 10 Looks 3 title, because the title should be like "Fuck white people," because it was like "Fuck the Beatles" or like "Fuck all
Elvis.
these."
It was
Fuck Elvis,
it was
Elvis.
Barry Gordy
Yeah.
explaining to Michael Jackson or Joe Jackson
What
and Jackson
happened.
5
Yeah.
why or how
Yeah.
the music industry works basically at that time.
Yeah,
in the
and he
late
was saying
60s.
like "Fuck the Beatles" for stealing black music and
Yeah.
"Fuck Elvis."
And Pat Boone.
And
But he was saying you got to play the game.
but there was nothing kind of to be. There was no point made, and
It was
then
just, this is what's happening.
yeah, there was this egregious white savior moment in the second act where Michael gets this new manager out of nowhere.
This is his only scene.
Is one scene and comes to the head of MTV and basically negotiates on Michael's behalf and gives all these great points about how Michael's not going to perform unless there's all these, I don't know, XYZ.
Basically, he says that like he's gonna make other white performers not be
Yeah.
able to perform on MTV
Yeah.
if they don't let Michael perform.
Yeah.
And that's all well and,
And Michael
good, I
stands
guess.
there the whole time like,
Right?
yeah,
But,
as
like,
this
did-
white character we've never seen
Defends
before
them.
fights with another white character
Did
we've
we
never
really
seen
need
before.
this scene? Like,
And the MTV guy is saying, we don't want to put his music on there. And he's like, well, let me tell you, you are going to because of this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And so he kind of
So he completely
makes the deal.
takes the moment away from Michael, and then
Yeah.
the character's never seen again.
No.
And then the rest of it was like, Donny Osmond is a big character, and like he is stealing Michael's shtick the whole time, which is totally true.
Yeah.
But like, they kept like. They do this Act 1 finale together, the Michael puppet and the Donnie puppet, called "What a Delight When You Turn White." And Donnie is talking about how the Mormon church is like, we don't like black people, but if you become white, then you'll be saved. And they sing this whole song, and you're like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Michael had a thing about turning himself white.
after the
Get
first
it.
verse,
I
Got
get
it.
it. And that song lasted for so long.
it was 3 verses and like 2 choruses and a bridge,
This show could have been cut in half.
at least.
Yeah, it definitely
A
needs
quarter.
an edit.
I could have been cut into a quarter.
And really,
I
I think we kind of all noticed or felt this. The first act is very about the Jackson 5, and it's more about Michael and the Jackson 5 becoming a sensation in this bizarre way that it happened. In this case, these aliens that look like gloves. And then and that was fine, and it was really kind of fun, and there were cool,
Yeah.
great performances, wonderful like use of puppets and
You kind of get
lighting.
behind it more.
Really cool production
The opening
design.
number is amazing.
Really, really
yeah.
good stuff. And then the second act, I'm like, well, where are they going to go here? Like, how is this going to work? And it just really, you can't do the second act anymore, or you probably never could have.
They should have never had it.
It
This
just-
show-
it falls flat.
That was where it really
It's
didn't
so
work.
late.
Well, and I think Julian, the writer and director, was trying to use that second act in the traditional way to flesh out the arc of his character, his lead character. And you just really can't do that because they couldn't touch on the big elephant in the room, really. And they made a really bad joke about
The whole, like, be a petty person.
petty
Yeah,
person.
that was them touching on it,
Ooh.
and I wanted to die.
That was rough. The whole room was like,
It was so uncomfortable during that moment. Like, oh, are you trying to actually say that this didn't happen
they were
now?
almost like about
Really?
to, and they just didn't.
It was, and they have a scene. So they say the excuse is the gloves are like, bring children here because they're yummy.
Yeah.
Bring me
That's their
Emmanuel
life.
Lewis
Because
and
they're-
Corey Feldman,
Because they're
and they
virgins,
do.
and they're, yeah.
And then he's like, come on, we'll sleep in the same bed. It's totally not weird. It's fine. I didn't have a childhood. And like, it's supposed to be kind of funny, but then you're just sitting there thinking of Wade Robson and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is so uncomfortable.
I forgot that Corey Feldman was in it. There's full body puppets, which means they're connected at the feet too.
Yeah.
So really interesting stuff there. Obviously,
Again, the
It's the
design
same
is really
technology
cool.
they do for like Olaf the puppet
Yeah.
in
That's
Frozen.
true. That's a good point.
there's
But
like a little,
they're good
slippers that you put your
puppets.
foot
Yeah.
into.
They work
That's exactly
great.
what they do with Olaf the puppet.
Yeah.
I like them. It's just all used in really kind of unfortunate ways.
Yeah, it was very it was effective but ineffective.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had. This is what I thought was happening, and the reason why I thought there was 5 aliens is because I thought
There
it was
were
gonna,
5 aliens.
That's you're right, but you guys
Oh.
are saying there could have just been
Got it.
one. I was thinking it was going to become their story, sort of in the second act, and Michael just kind of be like that along the way that happened.
Like he'd be in the background.
Yeah, because
kinda
I'm
doing
like,
his own
how can
thing.
you can't really
Yeah.
finish this story like knowing what we know about Michael
It's
Jackson.
like the puppets are Rosencrantz and
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah.
that they but then it was like, what is it? It's world domination, like
Yeah.
that's just like it is in Don't Feed the Plants. And
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't quite. There's no real way to finish the story that way either. So I think he just wrote himself into a corner a little bit. Like, how do I finish this story? I was thinking it was just so bizarre. It's such a bizarre concept, right?
Sure.
That obviously, Michael and the glove are iconic. This like sort of. You have this weird idea one night, you're like, hey, what if the glove was an alien and that was the source of his talent and that's how it all got started and let's write it that way. It's like, okay, that's art, that's cool, I'm glad people do that. But I agree with you, I don't think there's really an audience for it necessarily.
No, it would have made a really good 1-hour Fringe show.
I thought that the ways that the songs were written, or composed, I guess, were really impressive because they sold a lot about like Michael's music and the music of the time, and they felt like they fit in the time periods where they were supposed to go. But I swear the lyricism just degraded as the show went on.
Yeah, there are a few songs that are definitely meant to be like kind of parody homages to actual songs. Like there's a song called LUV, which was obviously ABC.
Yeah.
And then the Osmonds were doing a song called One Apple That's Bad, which is one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch. Yeah. And then the top of Act 2 was a song called Let a Friend Help You Beat It. And so that had kind of like a beat it kind of backing track. Yeah. Michael Jackson masturbates
There's a lot of that.
like 3 times in this show.
It kind
And
of
it's always
explains-
uncomfortable.
it's
But like, what if maybe they had made some commentary like, oh, maybe the glove isn't an alien, and Michael's like, maybe he's hallucinating it, and he's actually insane. You know, like they could
That's
have
another
done.
way. That's another way.
They could have done some commentary like that,
Yeah.
but they just didn't go for any of it.
Yeah, and they try to lay some groundwork. They try to lay some ideas for why Michael was so fucked up, like stuff that we all know,
Yeah.
especially early
Yeah.
on with his parents.
Yeah.
The biggest problem about his dad, about Joe, was that the actor who's playing him was so good.
Yeah,
He
really
was
good.
so likable.
So likable that the first song he sings is called "A Father's Love Is a Wonderful Thing," and he's singing about beating his children, and like he gets like a big cartoony belt, and that's kind of where you felt like the first 2 songs, like the opening number was just like really catchy and fun, and then the second song was that weird Ku Klux Klan song, which was so off the wall that the audience was laughing because everyone was like,
It was like
"This is so
showing you
bonkers."
what you're in store
Yeah,
And
for.
It was
then
shocking
the
awe.
third, so everyone was like, yeah, okay, we're into it. And then we get to this child beating song, and then you kind of felt everyone go, this isn't funny. I don't know how to make this funny.
And yet, and I was still with them at that point though, because it was. In other words,
that's where I started to feel that
creative way of
sinking
at least
feeling.
trying to explain. But the things that you said that have always been said over the years, Michael never had a childhood. You can't understand what he's going
The
through.
excuses.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, the excuses.
And they even had a point when he met Berry Gordy when they went to Motown, and the Michael character was like, I want to write about societal issues and stuff, and he's like, no, it's just pop, man. They don't want to hear us talking about societal issues. They just want us to have fun. Like this is. Just
I think the gloves are the
stupid.
ones telling him not to do that.
Well,
No,
Berry Gordy
Gordy
told him
did
that too.
because then he does the whole moment where he sticks his hand in the Michael puppet.
Yeah.
And they do this interesting thing where they could have made some commentary about it. They could have made it about Berry Gordy manipulating the Jackson 5 because now they're his puppets. You
And
know,
that was the most-
that could have been the entire second act.
And you mentioned that, Joe, because like he actually puts his hand and takes over the puppet.
Yeah.
That was a very powerful moment.
It was a very like yeah. I mean, it was very obvious. Like
Yeah.
let's smash the audience in the face with this metaphor.
Yeah.
But at least it was a metaphor.
Yeah.
At least it was trying to say something.
It kind of just devolved into like masturbation jokes, and
And it was masturbatory.
and
in
it was
that way.
masturbatory in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not
You have away with words.
you know, we're not prudes. We
No.
love some
Far from it.
No.
we love some shock humor, and I don't even mind the concept of it. It was a bonkers concept, but it wasn't executed well, and you could feel that sucking out of the energy of the audience, especially in Act 2. You could just feel
Yeah.
everyone going, checking watches, checking the program, which I was doing. Megan, what did you think?
I mean, yeah, it definitely should have been an hour tops as far as the show goes. It had no point. I mean, I don't want to bash it, but like,
Yeah.
it was flawed in many ways.
I mean, I really enjoyed the first act, and I loved the creativity behind not only the concept, but the creative design that they used, all the puppeteering, the lighting.
The set was
The
interesting
set was
too.
really cool.
Yeah.
They had this really cool proscenium like puppet show they would do while
was
they,
like a Punch and
while they were
Judy
transitioning. There would be these.
Yeah, they
little-
had a
It was
good
very
old,
very clever.
they had a good old fashioned like puppet show, Punch and Judy type
Yeah.
thing, and they would do that in the transitions, which was cute at first until you realized they were doing it to kill time.
Not to like get into the Punch and Judy thing, but this whole time there was this Ferris wheel, this wooden Ferris wheel with this gobo on it that was flashing.
Gobo.
That looked like
a Ferris wheel.
Looked
I
like it
forgot
was
about
going to spin at some point during the show. In fact, I said it several times to Emily while I was seated next to her. That it's gonna move.
That gobo's
at some
gonna
point.
move
It's
at
gonna
some
move,
point, right?
They're going to use that for
But did
something,
it?
right?
Did the gobo move?
I don't even think they
must
really
have cut
established
it.
that they were at Neverland at one point. Like, I thought there was going to be some fabulous song about Neverland or something.
There should have been
There
that.
was-
I would have been.
No, they did this
there for it.
extended the whole thing about Peter Pan.
Oh yeah, the gloves going, you're Peter Pan, you didn't have a childhood. He's like, that's weird, that doesn't make any sense.
Him resisting all this stuff doesn't make it interesting at
No,
all.
no.
If he was more easily manipulated, maybe, or if he came up with some of this stuff, it would all be way more interesting.
Yeah, he was kind of passive for most of
Yeah.
the first act.
I think like the scene that was most indicative of the pain that the second act inflicted on me was the one scene with one of the guys dressed up as
God, Brooke
Brooke
Shields.
Shields.
Oh.
Because Michael Jackson dated Brooke Shields for a while in the 80s. And this guy, it's a guy, one of the guy cast members with a beard. He came out and he was Brooke Shields. And
Playing with his
they
hair.
milked it in the way that only a guy with a beard in a dress
Would milk it.
could milk it. It was like, ha, ha, isn't this funny? I'm in a dress, ha.
Like it would have killed in the 60s.
And so,
or
and he kept,
50s,
and he was
yeah.
like, I'm like doing that straight boy doing a girl voice that no girl actually talks like.
They were pausing
that
like they were going to get these peals of laughter.
Yeah.
It was
This
so
guffaw.
painful. It was so painful, and the whole point of the scene, it was like 5 lines, was that the glove on his hand was jealous and was like trying to beat up Brooke Shields.
Yeah.
But then like they would be like,
They were establishing a connection
it
more between the
was
glove and Michael.
so
Yeah.
weird, and I don't know why if he had just played it completely straight, played it completely like he was Brooke Shields, it would have actually been funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing was, he was out there going, look at me, I'm in a dress, isn't this funny?
Yeah, I
And
think
then-
that was a mistake.
And then they
from
hit
direction.
the same jealousy beat 3 times in that sequence. Like all they had to do was
Oh,
have
the
the
glove
glove
being
slap
jealous.
her one time.
Oh, right.
But then the glove slaps her a second time after
And
more
she's
dialogue.
still there.
And
It's
she's still
so
there and
weird.
okay with it.
Weird.
And then the
Yeah.
third time he grabs his crotch, I think, and that's when
Yeah.
she's finally had enough.
I mean, I again, like I'll say, the first act I felt like had a lot of promise. It was really going somewhere. The second act needs to be completely rewritten.
Or just
and,
cut.
or just cut.
Or cut.
And everything needs to be trimmed.
Yeah.
Like I think you
Every
said that
song.
too. 70 minutes.
Cuts a lot of these songs.
Oh,
Cut
yeah.
Zizazoos. No one cares about Zizazoos.
No, we don't care about
The
this.
performances were good though. Like they were really good
Jerry
performances.
Minor was actually
And-
not bad.
He was
like
funny.
even phoning it in, he was pretty funny.
I'll say I have no love for this glove.
I have no love for this glove. I mean, the glove was cute.
Oh, the glove is
Again,
adorable.
it's well designed. It's good. It's good.
It's an
It-
interesting far out concept.
Yeah.
The glove was like RuPaul's Drag Race version of Hamburger Helper. Like, what?
That's so true. Hey, the puppets were good.
Yes.
I like them.
The cast was great, and like
They tried
the-
real hard with what they had.
The designers of the puppets were great, and like they all did a really good job with the show they had, but I feel like you could sense they know the show they're in. Like I feel like they all kind of knew what was up.
Seriously.
Problematic Michael Jackson stuff aside, it's just not an entertaining show. It's just not, it sucks the energy out, and makes you, it's not fun uncomfortable. It's not like brief moments of, like kind of tongue-in-cheek uncomfortable. It's like deeply uncomfortable and not in a make you think way.
It's not like Book of Mormon or something where it's like shocking you with actual beliefs that Mormons have, like versus, you know, the juxtaposition of where they are in the show and everything and like their different ideas and stuff. There's just not as much there, and it's not compelling.
I felt like they were going that way. Book of Mormon, particularly in the first act, when there was very, very zany and funny stuff happening, bizarre, and kind of interesting. Like they would sort of tie in a little bit to Michael's life.
Yeah.
The problem is the subject matter. It's just the second act had nowhere to go. It must have gone through several rewrites. Clearly, like Emily said, it can either just be done or it can be a
it's
one act.
after midnight. We're so tired.
It can be a
we
one
did
act.
not know this show was going to be so epic.
We had this is way past my bedtime.
But
Me too.
I really appreciated the
Sorry,
performances. I think we can all say the performances are good. Eric B. Anthony, who we know,
he was killing it up there.
He
was actually trying really hard.
All of them
he
were
was
good.
so good.
All
the
of the actors
whole
were
second act, he didn't have the puppeting, where that was just Michael as a small child.
Love for the cast, no love for the glove.
That's right.
I mean, I hope they're getting paid. I hope they're getting exposure. I hope they get more work
And they
from
will.
this
They
because
should.
they deserve it.
But it reminds me of that mockumentary movie that came out that was trying to like make fun of Disney. It was like I can't remember what it's
Escape
called.
from Tomorrow.
Escape from
They
Tomorrow.
shot it at the park.
Yeah, and
Tony hates that
And
movie.
the guy who made it thought it was going to be this big like kick in the pants to Disney, and he thought that it was going to like his website was going to be torn down by like the cease and desist letters, but no one cared because it was a crap movie.
That's the problem.
So-
is there's nothing actually being said. It's more just like skirting the actual real problematic issues. And then it's like Michael's being jerked off by his glove lover, and it's like,
What is this nonsense?
okay, all right, sure. And then in the end, he and the glove are like in a relationship.
love.
I guess they're in love.
He kisses the glove at the end, and that's it. That's where it ends, with him making out with his hand.
Oh, there's a Tinkerbell moment. Where he tells the audience
That's
to
a Peter
clap,
Pan's,
and then
It doesn't
instead
work.
he tells everyone to masturbate, jerk
Together.
off the person
Right,
next to you.
Everybody
And then
masturbates.
Michael does that. And like,
I want to die.
Final thoughts?
don't do a musical about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Just don't do
You
it.
can't do it.
And
Don't
yet
feed the
people
plane.
are still doing it. There's
I
there's
know.
jukebox musicals happening.
Oh no.
I just
We need to not glorify.
or
this
if you're
anymore.
gonna do something this off the wall zany, at least write a good book.
Right.
Or make it an hour. 90 minutes tops.
It
no
needs to have a
intermission.
strength somewhere.
Quick, zippy.
Yeah.
Something where by the end you're not
Snip,
bored
snip, snip.
by a Michael Jackson musical with, like, this is supposed to
With
be a fun.
alien gloves.
This is
Are you
supposed to be
kidding me?
zany, controversial, and by the end we were just asleep.
Done.
I was so ready to leave.
I'm still
by the
asleep.
end.
Am I here?
So everybody, that was for the love of the glove. Thank you, Ryan, for making us suffer through that.
No, thank you, Ryan.
No, thank you.
No, it was
But thank
it was an experience. It was an experience.
It was something we all did.
And
We did that.
So have a good night, everybody. We're going to bed. For the
Peace
love
out.
of the glove,
Homies.
get out of here.
what a love.
For the love of the glove.
Gerald, you cannot have beer. You are a baby.
Well,
Gerald, you are just a baby. I'm sorry.
If you really want to know, hook me up. We'll talk later.
Oh, how's it open?